have to keep cutting these beginning bits out of Patricia. Nobody knows that she's quite cheeky. Anyway, we are here today with our Patricia and Josh Stone channel. So hello, both of
Hi.
you. Hello, my darling.
Hello.
Been a few weeks, Josh. How are you?
I'm well. How are you? I think it's been longer than a few weeks, right? Maybe like, when's the last time we hung out?
A few good months ago, but I did put
Yeah.
obviously that video onto Unscrambled and Sun and Moon. Anyway, Josh and I were talking just a little bit before we actually pressed the button to have the hangout, well, record it. And Josh is into a few things lately, aren't you, Josh? Which is right up my street right now.
The actor-based reality that we live in.
Yes.
Mhm. That I've really been kind of honing in on that last few videos I've been making. I mean, the fact that they these quote unquote politicians, actors, they all play multiple roles. These higher up elites or whatever you want to call them, they play multiple roles, not just one or two, three, four, some of them. And when you really start to look into that, you start to see it. It's kind of like other truths that you wake up to. Once you start to see it, then it becomes more and more and more obvious as you look into it. And this is a huge one. I mean, the fact that they're playing multiple roles and then faking deaths, Prince faking his death or whatever. It's to make money. At the end of the day,
How much money do they
it's a
need?
payday.
You've got NASA taking all that money, then they'll be taking out the purse of the people, the prison way and all that. So they'll be taking out the purse that way. And it's like they're taking money all the time and they're always wanting more money. Taxes.
Yeah, they want it all. Well, if they have all the money, then we're in debt. And if we're in debt, then we're easier to control. So it's not really about them being rich with money. It's about us being poor without it. And the more they have of it, the less we have. It's kind of a control
I have
tactic.
to say that first statement when you said that we lived in an actor-based reality, you are so right, because we're seeing it all over everywhere. People that are supposed to be in these crimes, they're playing multiple roles.
Yeah, and getting away with it because the majority of people, when they see it on TV, it's real to them. And it's an epidemic as far as I'm concerned. It's like a virus in our society that people
They've got it really good,
they go back to it.
Because they've got it because people don't even think anymore. They watch, oh look, I saw it on the television, so it must be real. And they believe what they're seeing rather than the fact that it's just made for you.
Mm-hmm. Everything's like every major event that's on TV that the news is covering, 90% of it's staged. I'm just sure there's some real events that happen here and there, right?
Sorry, everybody, if that's a shock for everybody, but that's Josh's research and that's my research.
Yeah, and that we're both kind of interested. Like, there's so many subjects to kind of unscramble. So it's like, it's kind of like trying to get locked into. Okay, let's get to the bottom of this one. So that's good.
It's horrible, isn't it, Josh? Because why would you have to do that to the people? Because that's not democracy. That's some kind of communism.
It's like even beyond communism. It's more like slavery. Really, at the end of the day, it's just slavery, controlled society. We're the rats in the cage.
Yeah, we're definitely rats. And you do a lot of videos on like vampires, and that's what the vampire part's about, because basically they're trying to bleed us dry. Somewhere, it's either your consciousness they're bleeding you dry on, or your money.
Earlier on, when I kind of metaphorically got bit by a vampire over the winter by this machine inside of this internet. I thought of it as metaphoric, but the more and more I've gone, I really feel that some of these controllers are some sort of form of blood-eating vampire. Like, I mean, we have blood banks. They're called banks,
Yes,
and
they know what they're doing, and they're doing it all the time. So what does that say for society?
Right? That well, the vampire thing, there's a lot of signs that they're actual some sort of very evil kind of non-human kind of entity or something. I don't know. I know that sounds crazy, but they put the
Do you
truth
think
in
what it
movies
is
and
to do this and to know that every time they go out that they're deceiving from the moment go, they must have sold their souls to do it for money, and that means that they're not like us because they sold their souls for money.
right.
So there you
Yeah.
go. Maybe that's your entity.
And they're harvesting. They harvest us. I mean, it's becoming more and more common knowledge, even kind of like in kind of people who are kind of at least kind of thinking there's some weird stuff going on, that they harvest all the babies from Planned Parenthood and
The
all
really
of that.
sad thing is that a lot of people don't realise, and they're proud of things that if they only knew the truth, they wouldn't be proud of.
That's very true. I mean, isn't that kind of like why some of us, like you and me and a lot of others, like we try to kind of get up on a stage, kind of, that's what this kind of is, and exclaim it to people that you need to see this for yourself, so you can, because just knowing it's happening is liberating. It liberates you from it. And then it gives you also the opportunity to say to yourself, and even kind of just say it out loud into the air, that I do not consent, and that resonates through the ether. So,
When we had a hangout with Crow probably a few weeks ago, maybe it was 2 weeks, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before now, time, eh? But basically he's saying it's our fault. We sleepwalked into this. It's not even now. It was probably the 1930s, and birth certificates and all the law, they're bringing governments in. Like, what did we do? Didn't we ask questions then? What, we slept? It's our own fault we're here because nobody said, hang on a minute. And we keep consenting. And when you vote, what you're doing is you're consenting. And most people don't realise. They think, oh, I'm voting because that person's going to change everything for me and make everything wonderful. And all you do is basically, when you give them that tick, it says, we can do what we want, go where we want, kill who we want, be who we want, buy what we want. And that's not what the people's doing the tick for. They don't realise that's what they're doing when we vote. We just go, yeah, okay, you can do what you want to us. Yeah. I'm never voting again.
They're very clever at tricking us into giving our consent. Many different levels, like you're talking about voting. It's very us driving there and doing it. It's like it's like even like when you sign the screen, if you buy something with your debit card or whatever, and you just gave consent, right? So we're always giving consent, even like when we speak it out loud through words, or when you go see a movie and they are feeding you truth. They're telling us what they're doing to us in movies. It's their way. It's a disclaimer for them, because legally we told you gave consent by buying the ticket to go and see it. So now we're allowed to do it.
Here as well, Josh. It's like, we'd have been told your grandfather fought for your right in the war, and then you think, when you learn out what all the wars are about, you think, oh my goodness, it's just how they've mind controlled us. It's just disgusting. There's no other word for it. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, rights that are an illusion. I mean, that some wars are too. So much of what is really going on Earth is,
and that's why they don't want us coming together and talking, isn't it? That's why they don't want us talking. Because once the people start waking up, it's still, I'm sorry, like that little story with the emperor's clothes, you know, the story where, you know, he comes in, he's actually naked and everybody's got to say, oh, yes, it's magnificent. You look amazing.
Right. They want to control the data, you know, that's being exchanged. So and that's about actually controlling our memory. So if you control the data that's going into people, you are controlling their memory of what happened. Not you don't even have to control the event. You're just putting the memory, interjecting the memory, and that's what people take with them. So control the data, control the memory.
But is that true? Because like Patricia, we were on a hangout last night, and Patricia was mentioning the fact that, you know, like some people, I can't remember the person died, they got a day off. But like when Nelson Mandela died, we didn't get a day off, but everybody, that was all over the news. But he died, and then he became president again, and nobody noticed, or no one said anything.
Yeah. 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 That does get into kind of like the quote unquote Mandela effect, however, whatever kind of trickery is going on with that one. But well, you know, and the other thing they do is control our perspective. So like they don't want us hanging out and talking, right? So what they do is they interject their agents into the comments, and they come in there and they don't care about controlling our content. They do not care about our content. What they want to do is control people's who are watching our videos and commenting. They want to control their perception of the person delivering the message, you or me. So they slam you in there. They try to get you to engage and argue and kind of look like a fool for doing it. They're trying to trip you up and make you look bad, so that when people watch the video, they've controlled the perception of the person who made it. You don't have to control the content.
They're saying, no, 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 don't do it. But everything's going, take it, take it, take it. And in the end, people take it. And don't forget, there's subliminal messages being put in all this stuff. I mean, if I'm finding it all over the internet, goodness knows what's going through the television. You have to slow it down. And once you realize, it makes you think, you know, like basically, you know, Russian vids, his logo is that guy with the glasses. What's that film, Patricia? Patricia?
They live.
That's it. Well, they live. She hasn't turned her microphone off. They live. You know, those glasses, puts his glasses on and it says, obey, consume, obey. It's all the things from that thing they found basically on the national anthem in America, you know. Rebellion is not tolerated. Government is God. That's what these signs were saying. And that actually is going on. That actually is happening.
Yeah. The controlling our subconscious. I mean, that people don't even realize that, you know, I mean, just it comes down to just simple as colors, the color scheme of an ad or a show, or and then the music that's used, and then that gets into a whole other kind of deeper brainwashing. So it's multi-leveled. It's not just kind of this one, like, I've tricked you with a visual thing. I tricked you on many levels of your mind, your subconscious. I've injected memories into you, that stuff that.
Yeah, because people just don't realize, do they, that this thing might flick through, but your subconscious sees it. And if they're giving you messages all the time, it's a bit like you could be living with someone and always angry with them, never knowing why. And actually, it wasn't you. It's because you won't take your eyes off the television and the messages are coming through, and then you're taking it out on the person you're living with. And do you know how easy they did it, right? When you think about it, there must have been people who saw it as what it was. But years ago, they had this ad on the television, and you know, they put the ads up and they go, look at this amazing television. You need one of these. Everybody goes and buys it. And it was a joke. It was done as a comic thing. So basically the guy said, but if it looked really good on your television, why did you need to buy theirs? And that's how they've got us. Do you see what I mean? So everybody's running out now to get this television they've seen on their television. Now, that one's much better than the one I've got. They didn't realise if it looked okay on yours, why you don't need it. But that's the marketing. That's how they've got us. It's so many levels of this.
And you have had to have been a victim of that to understand it, right? I was a victim of being glued to TV.
You don't realise.
And it also affects you on a excuse me, like a physical level. So we're talking about this mental control, making us angry and stuff, but it's also doing something else. It's literally
narcissism.
lowering our muscle mass. It's lowering all kinds of levels.
And don't forget
You, you,
doctors,
you, you,
prescriptions, and
you,
antidepressant pills, all that. That's another level of it.
you eat when you watch TV, and it's natural. So I was a victim of that. I got, really out of shape, and I had to break that spell. And after I stopped watching TV is when it really kind of, so yeah, it's very powerful. It's a very powerful weapon. It's a weapon that they use on us. It disguised as entertainment.
Well, it's called, isn't it? Tell, lie, vision. Tell a
Yeah.
lie on a vision.
And I gotta say too, like, since I've been making videos, like when I'm making them, I'm realizing I'm kind of learning what they do to us by trying to, make a video and put a narrative, and then like what music do I want to use, and what colors for background. Like I realized, like, okay, so it's all about the intent of the person making it, and what kind of attitude do you want this to have, so that it's like easy. Like my thing is I want to make it fun and kind of easy to watch and listen to, and then but also tell you some truth in it, but without shoving it down your face kind of attitude. So that's just why my little intent, right? So, but I realize, okay, that's what they're doing from their angle on us. So I don't, they definitely don't
Do you know
want.
what's really annoying? What's really annoying is
What would
everybody
really,
wants this wham bam. Everything's wham bam. If they can't take it all in 20, 30 seconds, oh, that's it, I'm bored. And yet when you've got to explain this to people, it takes quite a bit to actually explain it to people. And those ones are all geared up to wham bam. If I don't get it in 20 seconds, I'm not interested.
yeah.
So you can see how they get people, can't you? Just by that 30 seconds. It's all done in like 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah, and how they title it, so how they're using words too, and words are just spells. Our language keeps us in a whole other level of mental control. So they're spelling us with words all the time.
Yeah, you want one of these. You want one of these. You need one of these. I think also as well, don't forget they're attacking our food, because if you're a meat eater, they're putting chemicals, hormones. I mean, it's surprising that we can stay alive. I just think we're one big experiment to them.
It does seem that way. But it seems like they're, also trying to figure out how to, they're using it. So if you do an experiment, you're going to use it for something. You're going to take the results and you're going to apply that somewhere else. So my interest is in what else, what are they applying it to that we don't even know about? Like there are other
time, the people are sleepwalking through it. And when people say like, oh, what does it mean to me? It doesn't mean anything to me, and all that. It's like, oh my goodness, if only you knew the truth, you wouldn't want it. That's what I think. Anyway. Carry on, Josh.
I kind of lost my train of thought there, but
sorry.
So it's like, where are they going to apply the data that they're gathering from? If this is an experiment, what are they applying that data to? Like, what is it? Some other their other part of some other civilization that we don't know about, that they're applying a whole other kind of like government system based on kind of like messing this one up as bad as they can to learn. To know what not to do is more important than know what to do.
I think them are trying to make us numb, aren't they, though? Numb to everything. So people are murdered, numb. Wars, numb. You just don't care. It's going in front of people, and they just don't care. What's a life anymore? People fall down in the street, no one wants to help them anymore.
Yeah,
it's that bad, isn't it?
It's a very 2D, two-dimensional kind of system most people live in. Just one or two dimensions is kind of where they're at. They're not thinking three-dimensionally or 4 or 5-dimensionally. Most people, they don't want to go there. Like you said, we're kind of numbed down to not even have the motivation to do it. So what is that? Is that the fluoride? Is it the vaccines? Is it geoengineering? What, or is it a combination? Or
I
what
think
they
it's
put in?
part of that, like the consciousness we were talking about. Life's so fast now, and like we're slaves, and we've got all these bills and this debt and family. There's no time to think anymore. Everybody's just rushing around doing their jobs. But if they actually could sit down and, like you say, 'cause other people come on and they say you need that meditation, 10, 20 minutes a day. And if you actually, then you'd start thinking. And also, like you said, you turn the television off, you start thinking, because you're not taking it all in, you're thinking for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. If I think if everybody like took a half hour out of their day, like you said, I do every day, to do some sort of thing that puts you in a meditative state, whether it be working out, going for a walk, cleaning your house, just sitting there looking out the window. Maybe you feed the birds, so you watch the birds for a while, just a half hour, no phone, nothing, just go, right? Just a half hour a day. It would make a major impact on, I think, people like not needing that as much. And then all of a sudden it starts to become a habit. That half hour turns into 45 minutes. Next thing you know, oh, like, okay, I didn't watch any TV
Do
today.
you know
And
the one thing in
you start to
America I've
realize it's
noticed?
not that
That
bad.
a
Like
lot of people are getting in their buses and going off, and that sort of takes them out of society, doesn't it?
yeah, I will say though, I still have a TV, and I keep it around mostly just to, I get movies from the library because it's free, and I watch them not for the entertainment purpose, but to learn and see what they've been telling us through all these different ways through the movies, because they're definitely communicating information, subconscious information. So I watch them more for research, almost like they're documentaries or something like that. But it's
Yeah, you're
okay.
viewing them differently.
I think
You're
it's still
viewing
okay
it.
to, right. It's viewing it from a different perspective, but I think it's okay. Like they do make the movies entertaining, so whatever. So yeah, it's
But you
kind
know
of like,
what? Sometimes in those movies, there's lots of information. Like, for instance, we live in the Truman Show, and basically,
right.
it's almost as if we are Neo from the Matrix, and we're living in a Matrix. And
Well,
then,
Avatar. I mean, do we have an avatar? I mean, are we an avatar? Right?
there's another one if you haven't seen it, because there's what was that film we said just a minute ago? Russian Vid's logo. I
They
can't think what
live.
it's called. They Live. That's another one. And then someone passed me movie 23. It's got Jim Carrey in it. That's very interesting.
Oh yeah, I think I did. I think I might have. It's been a while since I think I watched that one. I should revisit that.
Because the thing is that writing that he's talking about, it's all over his face. I've seen it
Right.
in our hangouts. When you slow the people down on the hangouts, when they're showing their faces, sometimes you can see writing on them. So who's putting that on them? And then I think it must be
Oh,
maybe you put your goggles on and it's all the counties saying what's happening in their politics, and it's all written on these videos. And I don't know, there's
yeah,
writing. How can it be writing
yeah,
when we're digital?
or,
Google
or,
are
or
doing that.
yeah. It could be like we have digital code that we're not even real. We're just this digital thing.
But some of the films do sort of tell the truth, don't they? And everybody
Hmm.
goes, "Oh, look, we're living like in the Truman Show," but the reality is, we really are.
Yeah, they make it look like fantasy. So if anybody was to say, no, that's real, no, you saw it in a movie. It's just make believe. It's a brilliant psychological operation they're going with here.
Yeah, so they
They're
tell
getting
you the
away with
truth.
it.
They tell you the truth, but they also completely lie to you as well and use
Hmm.
you. But they do tell you, they do put the truth out there, just that people aren't awake and listening, looking. Everybody's just daydreaming through. At this rate, they're going to wake up and go, "What do you mean I've got handcuffs on me and I'm shackled to something?" That's what's going to happen. It's going to get that bad if we don't wake up and realize what's happening around us. That's what I think. I think it's got bad in the last 10, 20 years, hasn't it? It's got, when we were growing up, I sound so old. But it wasn't like
Well,
that even maybe 10 years ago. It's changed.
once they brought in, social media and that kind of like definitely has changed big time. Um, since internet, basically.
It's quite
The
horrifying, isn't it? Because we've just found it for ourselves. We found it for ourselves. No one's told us.
right.
There's things that we found, and it's like usually
It's
I
kind of,
find it about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I think there's nobody awake, and like, oh my goodness. I
yeah,
think it's really bad. I think it's a lot. Even though we're talking about it and we're saying it's bad, it's even worse than we can imagine.
yeah, like it's like we see a lot, and we see like, wow, it is really like there's a lot going on that you would never even dream of. But yeah, you're right. It's probably even worse than we can even imagine.
Do you think, Josh, NASA, right? What about that? Making a reality that doesn't even exist, taking all that money, like, and nobody does anything, nobody says anything every day. I mean, you don't know where they're actually taking that amount of money out, but that's what we're told. All that, and if you put that into the people, you could help with homelessness, the poor people, rebuilding when hurricanes come. It just seems pathetic when we know, anyway, yeah. When we already know that's just rubbish.
Yeah, they want the chaos. Chaos, um, generates an electrical current through our society that powers them in some way, through money or even
But that's your vampire bit, isn't it,
metaphysically.
really?
Yeah,
That's your
yeah,
they just vampire us. And then what it is they vampire us with fear and anxiety.
mhm.
And that's why,
They keep you they keep us numb while they harvest us.
it's not surprising
And
a lot of people are narcissistic. And in that, they've really built up the ego so that everybody goes, me. Now listen, there's always me, and me probably has to be first because I'm living in me. But when you know who you are, you can share with others. And lots of people just don't even know who they are, not even alive. They just don't know who they are. And when you don't know who you are, you won't decide anything because you don't know. And that's where they've also got society, is a don't know society.
yeah,
I mean, nobody wants to help each other anymore. How?
yeah, because of fear. I don't want to get involved. Yeah, it's the
But they also
fear.
changed the laws, didn't they, also to make it like that you can't help anybody. So that's also really bad. And the thing is, they've got us down as this raging place that we're always killing each other. I mean, you live in New York, don't you?
I live in Cleveland.
Cleveland. I mean, do you see fighting and all this going on and murders and killing? You don't, do you? I bet it's quite peaceful, really. You get the odd
It did.
thing.
I mean, you have your hustle and bustle, but yeah, there's not murder every. Yeah, every that's blown out of proportion everywhere. Yes, are there murders? Yes, of course. Do people die? Yes, of course. And God bless them, but they fake a lot of it. That's all I'm saying. Some of it's faked, dudes. But that's a tricky one to get across to people, because they
Yeah, a
the
lot of
biggest
people would be, but our government wouldn't do that to us.
no, nobody would lie about dying. No, that's like the biggest taboo in everybody's mind. Nobody would fake their death. That's like the worst, like
Can
trick
I
you
can
could
I ask,
play
because
on somebody.
Patricia's here? Patricia's here. Patricia, say something. She hasn't said anything. Patricia,
Yeah.
do you agree? Do you see what we're saying?
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, it's just a minefield, isn't it? It's like you don't know how far things go. You don't know. Definitely with um actors. It's like you'd think, right? They get all these different actors to play these million, thousand roles or whatever. You'd think there's enough people in this world. Why don't they just use one person to play someone else? Why do they have to make? It's like they're wanting us to notice these things. They want us to notice that. All right, we've got the stars. We know they play different roles, but we're talking about everyday sort of people that play multiple roles, and you just think, why It just don't make sense.
I always put it down, they've like put us in a boot camp, but they just forgot to tell us. So they're trying to tell you've got democracy and everything, but you don't. Because if you did, all this deep fake stuff just wouldn't be happening. And I'm sorry, yours and mine, you know, our Prime Minister, your president, they'd have to say, I can't go on because we've got to sort the media out. They carry on. Nothing changes. It's just getting worse.
Because they don't want to sort the media out, do they? Because they use the media, whether they say it's true or not. You know, it's you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. So they're using the media, but at the same time they're moaning about it. But there's always a hidden agenda, isn't there?
Yeah, pretending to hate what they need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So if they say, oh, it's really bad and we don't want it, they want it really, and you're going to get it.
Or it's like a propaganda thing. They want people to make up their own mind, so they'll go over and whatever it is, say this platform we're on, they'll go over. Oh yeah, well I get a nice benefit. It's like cherry picking, but it's also about networking. Like oh they're rubbish them people, but in the same time in the same breath they're actually promoting them because people are going to go, oh wow, what's wrong with them, you know, because people are inquisitive, so they're going to go over and go, well I don't see out wrong with it, you know. So it's promoting and not promoting at the same time. It's quite
Yeah, I did.
funny.
We found that with some of the channels. They'll always mention other channels, but what they're really doing is they're promoting them. They're just feeding. So, oh, I'll have to go to that channel now and see what's happening there. And you get there, and that one's going, oh, this person. I don't know why that person's being like that. And they actually mention their channel. Because if they really want to talk about you, they don't mention your name. They just say that, well, they'll say that crazy woman or whatever it is. When they actually mention the channel, what they're actually doing is promoting the other channels, and nobody notices.
People can't help doing that though, because even though they're putting that other channel down, it's making them look big. So even if they don't realise they're doing it, they're doing it. You know, and I think to myself, if you don't like another channel, just don't mention it to anyone. Never speak of it. You know, just do what you want to do on your channel or whatever it is you want to do in life. Just do it. Because you know, anything that anybody does, there's always an opposite to it. There's always someone will like it, someone won't like it. Once you realise opposites exist in this world, there might be three, you know, it's three sides to every story sort of thing. Once you realise that, you just block all out. You go, well, I'm not even going to be bothered. And I suppose that sounds a bit horrible, you know, like we should be standing up for stuff and that, but where has it got us?
Well, we like being different, don't we? I'm sorry, I don't want to be part of that as much as possible. I know I have to work in it and, you know, be in it in a way, but I also don't. I can see why people buy these big, you know, those buses, those school buses in America and just go. And it's not just one or two, it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are starting to do this. At this rate, no one's going to be living in a house. They'll all be mobile.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. There's three ways in there. There's that way you can go that route, fair enough. But people want to live in their own homes and escape the system. And I think what we were trying to do is to, you know, bring the community together so that we could actually physically help someone else. So say like I wanted free energy, and we know people that can do that with the crystals and things like that. And we want them people to go to, say, my home, not necessarily my home, but somebody who, like me, who wants to actually live in my own home. Debatable, but you
Do you
know,
know what
like
though, Patricia, I think the law right now is that you have to be signed up to the utility companies for gas, water, electric. You have to be signed up. It's against the law not to be signed up to them when you move into a house.
Well, who said you can't sign up to them, but have your own, just if you're not using their electricity, you're not going to get charged much. You still have that little bit, but you're technically getting very low cost energy because you'll be creating your own energy, right? But what we're saying is we want people who know that sort of skill to come into people's homes to give them that, rather than just saying, "Oh, I've got this technology, it'll save you paying for electricity, or at least a minimum amount of electricity you'd have to pay for just to keep on their books, so that you're not going to get knocked on the door and say, look, you need to pay for," you know what I mean, to escape all that. We actually need people to actually come out and do them things. If you know a way of like organic farming, not farming, gardening and stuff like that, get people to come out. This is what I want to happen. People actually go into somebody else's house and me actually knowing about it. I'm sure there is people that do them sort of things. But this is what we wanted to build, weren't it, Karen? Like a community where we actually helped one another, physically helped one another. And not just, you keep saying we're in the talking stage. We're always going to be in the talking stage until we do something. Anyway.
Cool. I'm glad I asked Patricia to unmute and say something.
Well, I'm in a bit of a mood today as it is because of my situation, but it's nothing to do with energy or anything like that. But I'm in a bit of I'm going to flipping say what I want to say. Sorry, Josh. Go on. I'll let you have the floor now.
That's great.
You heard Patricia today, Josh.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Can I'll explain it. I'll explain it. Patricia's quite disabled, right? And she's living in sort of a council house, but it's not owned by the council. So there's one bit with the council, then one bit with the people who own the house. And she's got this lip in her house. They won't let her really have the buggy out, leave it out in the hallway. She's got to have it in the house if she's using it. And then to get out of the house, she's not strong enough to get the buggy up and over this lip and then back and then up and over this lip. And now she's struggling to get a little ramp. So basically, it makes her a prisoner in her own home.
Oh, I'm sorry, Patricia.
Oh, yeah. I've probably upset her now because I've talked about it. But Patricia's been really upset today. And she's going to write...
You didn't have to explain anything, Karen, at the end of the day. You didn't have to explain it. Something I've just got to get around, Anna. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now.
I didn't mean to upset you, Patricia. It's just that, out in the open, you never know. Maybe there'll be some people who've got some ideas who live in the UK. Patricia needs a ramp. Can anybody make Patricia a ramp? Because she's even looked at trying to get one and she needs a slightly deeper one. Oh, standard ones. They're all standard and they cost £1,000.
Karen, it's not so much about the ramp, but the council are saying that I need permission. Even if it's something that I move myself on a day-to-day, well, when I get the mobility scooter out, if I put it back in the flat, I still need to have permission. And they're not going to give me permission because it's for a mobility scooter and not because I'm not permanently in a wheelchair. I don't want to be in a wheelchair. I want to be independent. I want to be able to get out my front door without anyone else being involved, just so that I can do it. And anyway, it's not going to happen. So.
And also, very quickly, Josh, we have this way with the council here where Patricia has to bid for a house and then they'll give you points for this, points for that. And she's been trying with this point system to move for 3 years closer to her family that could help her, and then she can be around people. Because where she is right now, so many miles away in this flat, she's a prisoner.
Yeah, that stuff's by design. I mean, it's like what she was saying about, the news channels working together, they mention each other's names. That's because they're working together. They're promoting each other because it generates revenue. They want that. So they mention the other one on purpose. It keeps people going back and forth and it ups the ratings. It's just like how lawyers work together. So the council. I mean, I know your guys' system is like really different than our legal system, but lawyers work together. They put on an act that they're against each other, but you know, it's all to make, you know, money.
Most
So
people don't even realize there's like two kind of laws. There's the law they use, but there's also the law of the land. There's also what's the other book? I forget what it's called now.
maritime law.
Yeah, there's maritime law, but there's also I can't remember what the other name of the book is with the other law in it, and they know about that.
It's legalese, isn't it? Black Law Dictionary.
Yeah, but what they're hoping is nobody understands it, nobody knows about it, so we live by the maritime law. But basically, if you went to court here, this is the UK, I'm saying, I don't know how it quite works for America, but you ask that judge to recite their oath, you'll probably find that 7, 8, or 9 of the judges actually are sitting in a court they have no jurisdiction over because of this maritime thing and which bit they're in. And, you know, so basically it's like, well, that person then can't really try you. They do all these things to us, they make all these systems, but they don't actually live by them themselves.
No. they it's on the language, like, you know, it's all like they will say certain words and put them together a certain way, and will give consent to what they want. And it, like that point system that you were talking about, that's interesting. You have to build up
But do you know what
points.
else they do? And I don't want to make this into a racial thing because it's not. But
I mean,
do
that
you know what
makes
they
sense
do?
because it's called a court.
Josh, they advertise for people to come here, like immigrants, and they say you get a 2-bedroom flat, you get education, medication, you get money, da 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 da, and the people who live here, like Patricia, are prisoners. And yet they're here, the doors are open, come on, you get all this here, and yet we can't. And in another breath, they're saying, oh, the system, it just doesn't work because there's too many people. And they're inviting them in, they're saying, they're advertising, come to the UK.
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage.
It's like, this is crazy. And yet nobody says anything. And they think by voting, it's going to change anything. But that system is set up the way it is, and you're never going to change it. Because I actually think Trump would have done something by now if he was a real person, you know, like a good man. Because he's no way would he want to be a president in a system that's always going to be deep fake.
Right. He's been a part of it forever. He's born into it.
It's all about money.
Yeah, and that's the saddest thing, because to me, like, even if, say, we got rid of this system today, we've got money. But instead of money being just a medium to buy it, the money is the most important thing. The people aren't important, just the money. That's the bit that's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, strip them all of the money so they can't go out and enjoy themselves on a, life's for living at the end of the day. But that's why they say, oh, you can go to space. It's sort of like to give us a dream. I know they say the American dream and all that lot, but it happens everywhere. You know, they give us this illusion that, oh, things are going to be better, but you're probably going to be dead when it's better. So just live your life, you know, still give your money away, you know. Just slightly going back to my situation, I pay council tax to pay for adult social care, the police and the fire brigade, which I just think are, I'm not, I mean, for me personally, they are just like an insurance policy for if I needed them, right? So I'm paying to an insurance policy. That's how I see it. But adult social care, I'm paying for it on my council tax. But if I want anybody to come in and help me on a day-to-day basis, which I don't really need, I just want to be able to get out of my flat, I still have to pay for it. So I'm paying for it twice. All it is about getting money out of people. And when you need help, oh no, we can't help. You know, it's so and so. Yeah, they have to deal with it, and then you get in touch with them, and it's somebody else because they don't do it. You know, there's nobody when you actually need help. There isn't anybody else that will help.
Yeah, they want us to need them.
Yeah, but there's no point in needing somebody when you go around and ring them
Right.
all up and they're not
They,
going to offer you the help that you actually need, not just to think
right.
what they think you need.
Do you know something as well? We have to pay this thing called council tax here, which I only just realised a few weeks ago. Basically, it's not the government paying for us; we're paying for it through our councils, right? For most things, like bin emptying, whatever it is on the roads here in your town, education, these kind of things, social services, like I said, police and all that. And it's like £155 a month, right? But if a lot of people earn the minimum wage, and that's about £8 something an hour. So imagine how many hours that person has to do just to pay their council tax. That's before all the other ones, electricity, water, food, car insurance, whatever it is. How do they expect the people to be able to afford all this if you're on the minimum wage? Yeah, I know it's a pretty different system for you, but we pay our councils now, and now the MP can't help you at all because he'll just go to the council or go to an ombudsman, and the ombudsman don't work. They're a government-paid body just sitting there doing nothing. They're being paid millions of pounds, and then when it gets to your case, because they made you wait 5 years, they say they can't help you. So what's the point of having them?
I actually just read an article about about the UK kind of being one of the worst systems to live in right now, currently. Like it's like number one on the list. So yeah.
Well, I'd agree with you because nothing works. Like every time you want, what it is say you're lucky, you might sail through everything and nothing really gets you, and you're lucky you've got the water, runs off your back and on you go. But a lot of people have to use the system for whatever it is. And the moment you try to use it, it just doesn't work. Like, for instance, she lives in a council house. That's who she pays. Oh, no, but now you've got to go to the people who own the house and the council. That takes the responsibility away. Because they'll go, you've got to go to the council. And then the other ones will go, you've got to go to the people who own the house. So you're just stuck in it. It's just awful. That's what they do in big business, isn't it? Oh, well, that's not my department. I can't help you. And you end up on one problem having to speak to about 10 people and nobody's responsible for you. Anyway, sorry, that's my rant over.
This is the place.
Josh, it's your turn now. You can have a bit of a rant. Come on, tell us.
Come on,
tell
George.
us your problems. Tell us your problems. My cars look really rubbish.
I struggle. But some days are easier than others, but I really, 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 really try very hard to combat it every day. Even if there's something going on that's,
Hey,
unreasonable.
Josh, I see you as one of the beautiful people.
Aw. Thank you.
Because you're such a nice person, and we're all going through this thing, and you choose to be a nice person through it all.
I try to keep my head about me when it comes to that. A lot of negative stuff comes your way, more negative than positive when you're kind of putting yourself out there. So there might have been a couple times early on, but then I kind of started to figure out, that's changing my intent of why I'm doing this. So I kind of just backed away from, and I just pay attention to the positive in it and try to, even though it's like some dark information or ideas or whatever, I try to present it calmly. So, it's like, there's a lot of, there's like channels out there dedicated to like trying to like make real truthers or real people like us who are just out here kind of just trying to talk about this stuff, to a couple hundred people if we can online or whatever, and just talk about it. But there's some channels, I got slammed by one like a month ago where they took one of my old videos I made and they featured it on their channel as he kind of broke down the video throughout and just slam. It's pretty comical. I got a laugh out of it. But yeah, I got like 20,000 views on his channel, and I had 20,000 people making fun of me for this video of his followers. I think it's called. I won't. I'm not even going to name it, but the channel. Why even promote it? But yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean,
you sent me the link, didn't you?
sorry.
Didn't you send me the link?
I did. Yeah, I sent you the link just to show you like this happened, and like, wow, it was a video I made on volcanoes.
Josh, I've had a few videos made about me, and one of them said I was disgusting. This woman is disgusting. And,
The title,
I don't
yeah.
attack people like that. I'm just showing the footage, slowing it down. I don't talk about
Mhm.
people that well. I suppose one lately I have, but he's a channel. But I don't really go into people's personality. I just don't really talk about them. I'm showing the footage and what's wrong with it. And I'm
Right.
called disgusting.
Yeah, there's a way to put information out without actually like there's keywords I will not use in my videos or say right, not even now. There's just trigger words. They're by design, they've been injected into the truth community so that if we say this word or this word or this word, it's going to trigger algorithm or whatever. And that's when people get banned. That's when the negative stuff starts coming in. So just try to stay away from certain words, which are spells. They're swords.
Sort of self-censorship, isn't it? We have to censor ourselves just to be
Yeah.
able to get a little, as much of the truth out as we can get. But we have to censor everything, and it's stupid.
It's like yeah, censoring yourself. It's like learning a new language with the same language. It's weird.
Well,
It's like you.
personally, myself, I told you before the hangout, I'd like to say a bit more sometimes, but I won't because YouTube will do something.
Yeah, I mean, like I mean, it is. I kind of look at it like it is what it is. This is not our It's their website or whatever you want to call it, their machine. And if you play by a couple of the rules, I hate playing by rules, but if you play by a couple of them, they'll leave you kind of alone, a little bit. They'll at least let your channel still be alive. So that's if so you can get at least 90% truth out there. If you have to hold back 10% saying a couple things, most people fill in the blanks. You know where I'm going. You watch enough videos and.
But I still think that there's a majority of people don't know that they don't know. They just don't know what they're in.
That's definitely true. And I've tried to like craft a few of my recent videos that would kind of like communicate to people who don't know. So maybe this will trigger something for them, but also in the same breath, try to communicate people who already know and are thinking beyond it. So it's like kind of communicating 3 or 4
Do
dimensions.
you know something else as well? Patricia's right when we were talking about this subconscious thing, and I was trying to talk to Patricia, but we talked about this before in her situation. And I said, well, why don't you try? Oh, but that's putting feelings in there. They don't want any feelings in it to do all this, all of it.
Yeah.
But actually, it's seriously affecting Patricia's life. You just heard her; she's nearly in tears, and it is emotional. But they want to take all the emotion out of everything. We are emotional beings.
Yeah. If they don't allow us to have like emotion, because emotion affects people on another level. So if we can connect with people emotionally beyond just what information we're putting out, but if you can connect with them on an emotional level, that's much more powerful and then much more, opens people's mind to more ideas and stuff. If you can get on that kind of connection, so like you're saying, yeah, they want us to censor what we say. They want us to censor our emotion output. But they don't mind if you're like exertive and like loud and kind of always angry because you just look like a fool. So they don't mind if you act like that. They like
They
those
want
guys.
you to buy into the system, don't they?
Yeah, they want you to act all crazy, and because then if other people see your video, they're just like, oh, just another crazy. So yeah, it is definitely a perception war. It's a war on our perception of communicating truth and finding people who want to know the truth, and then also listen. I mean, the vast majority just don't want to know. So it's, you know, they'll want, I look at it like they want to know the more people that already do know. So like as more people know, the people who don't want to know will start to want to know. Because like, what's going on over there? Like, why does this subject keep coming up, or this subject keep coming up? Like, what is this? And if they start looking into it, enough people have, because there's a lot of disinformation out there, a ton of it, channels dedicated to it.
People say that they think that they're, you know, whatever it is, and they're awake and all that. But when it actually comes to it, they're not. They don't really want to wake up. And they're quite happy with the system that we've got. But the bit I hate is that the people are not the important part. And instead of somehow educating us with caring and sharing, it's all about money and egos. It's all the things that are wrong. Like, you know, that's the good thing about you and me. We don't do this like with big fat egos. It's not about that with us, is it?
No, I don't. Like, I share my videos on Facebook, but like I don't try to, like, I just kind of let it happen naturally. But like, oh, I lost my train of thought. I was thinking of something what you were talking about a minute ago. But yeah.
Yeah, you don't even put tags, do you, in your videos? Is that right? You told me you don't put tags on it. You just want people to find it.
I don't put tags. Very rarely. I might put one once in a while, but yeah, I mean, I just kind of categorize it and write a little bit underneath and put it out there and see what happens. and then I learn from them. I'm also doing it to kind of be a student of myself, so I can continue to try to learn. Okay, I can, if I tweak this or that worked really well. So like, to communicate, for me it's all about communicating with people. It really is less about the entertainment or that. I mean, I like to make them fun, because I've always been
make them think about something. Because you made me think, you know, when you were out for that walk, we've talked about this before, but you were walking and you were basically saying that this water just coming over the edge of this, well, it wasn't really a waterfall, was it? But it just came over this creek thing. And you were saying, well, that's just like that's how they generate energy.
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, I suppose, yeah, you know, some of it's simple, but we don't realise that it's actually quite simple, and we're doing everything the hard way.
Yeah, it really is. It's very simple, but still complex. I mean, like I say, I'm still trying to learn every day more and more. Like, you know, I mean, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Plain and simple. Get out of that room. Be around people smarter than you. You know, so or try to learn from people who know other, not smarter, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Like, just people who know more about that than you do, or that.
Yeah, but as you well know, the more you wake up, there's less people.
Yeah, the tribe gets small. The tribe gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Horrible. It sounds like we're being horrible, but a lot of people are asleep.
Yeah, it's by design. It's not like their fault or anything, right? I mean, I never put anybody down
because they don't know that they don't know.
Yeah, it's not about like saying there's anything wrong with you, or like, it's just like you've been put under a spell. It's not your fault, you know. I was under it, and it's, once you break it, it's like you can't unsee it, right? So then all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, everybody else is in it. I got to get them out, because it's so much better out here, even though it's kind of like lonely and now, but the more and more people that snap out of that spell.
And you know, the really sad thing is, you know, over on Scrambled, with what I was seeing in this footage and what was going on, I actually wrote to President Trump and I never got a reply. So there's no one's going to help us and no one's going to save us. We have to do this ourselves.
Yeah. Yep. It's up to people just trying, you know, like, we do the best we can. We, like everybody in the truth community, quote unquote, or whatever. But like all this, it's tricky. It's hard to navigate by design, but some of us are finding each other and talking about it here, and that might resonate with, say, five new people, and then so it's just little small little battle wins, not winning the
I think
war,
the
but just trying to
hardest
win.
part is that the thing that I see quite often when the people don't understand is that, oh, don't be so stupid. Our government's not going to do this to us. That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
They can't believe that this would be happening, but it is.
Yeah, even like when it's happening, it's still hard to believe it's happening. Like I know.
Sometimes I wake up and I just think, oh my God. Every day I think, I go, oh my God.
Yeah, it's shocking to me every day. It never gets less shocking to me. I don't react to that shock. It's not like, oh my God, but it's just like, it's never a small deal in my head what's going on. I never minimize it. I might subdue it so I can take care of some other stuff in life.
Why do you think,
But,
do you have an answer, like, why is it some of us have woken up and others haven't? And that doesn't mean we know everything either, because every day, like you say, we're learning every day. You've taught me things,
it's interesting that I think about that a lot, and is that part of the program? Is that on purpose? Do they need some awaken? Like, do they need some resistance? Do they need that? Does that help generate other kind of, I don't know, revenue or energy?
Is it as
or
simple
whatever?
as just turning your television off? Or is it just some of us are going to see it and some of them aren't? It's
The
like
thing
we're
is,
seeing with different eyes and different minds, different vibrations. I don't know.
yeah, I remember I was thinking about this yesterday for whatever reason. I remember the exact day when it all clicked, like that moment where it like, oh my God. And I was sitting on my couch and I had TV on, and Obama at the time was president, and he was just giving a speech or something. I can't remember. It was something he was addressing. And all of a sudden, when that snapped in my head from whatever I was researching, I wasn't probably even watching the TV. I was doing all this research because I was starting to like really see it. And bam, it snapped. And his voice went from sounding one way to all of a sudden it sounded different. All of a sudden, this new realization had a different sound to it. And I'm very sonic. I've always been a musician, so I
Yes,
noticed
it didn't
tones.
resonate with you. It didn't resonate anymore.
My frequency changed when I snapped out of the spell. My frequency changed and stuff started sounding different. That was another weird thing that happened for me personally. But I remember that moment like vividly, like it was literally yesterday. It was like born again, right?
Yeah, I must
Like,
admit, when it
right?
happened to me, it was overnight and it was something I put off. And I started watching some videos and it became so apparent to me. But I still spent months and months and months researching because I
Oh
had to
yeah.
convince myself, even though I could see it. I know what you mean.
Oh yeah. Then really dive in, and yeah. And then I started like, I'm like, oh my God, but there's so much more going on. Like I was watching stuff and I'm like searching for videos and I'm like, all right, I'm not finding them, so I'm just going to try to make them myself because this information that I think is there's more that's going on than just these kind of subjects, and the free energy and that kind of stuff. I'm like, there's way more mud fossils, So I attempted to try to start doing it, and whatever it is what it is now. But so like I was saying earlier, for me it's about communicating, trying to resonate. And
You're so right about that. I mean, you can tell that I'm a communicator.
yeah, you're a
I like
facilitator.
I like getting people together. I like talking. I like discussing these things. I
Yeah.
wish sometimes we could just be talking about the nicer things in life.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But once you know all this, you almost can't, can you? I feel like my place is to help communicate this out to people, whichever
Right.
way it is. Sun and Moon's that way, and Unscrambled's this way. I'm still trying to tell the people. I just don't. But again, you know, I'm a bit older. My kids have grown up. Maybe that's what part of it is. I think I was always that way, to be honest. But I have a different time now, even though we're stuck in that rat race in the prison. In the free time I have, I'm always making videos and having hangouts and trying to help. Well, information, that's what we're there for, isn't it? To try and give information to people somehow.
Yeah.
If it's me
all
saying it or my guests saying it.
right. Mm-hmm.
And it's a shock for us, isn't it, though? Because it was probably easier before because you didn't think about anything like that and you just got on with it. And then the more you wake up, the harder it becomes.
yeah.
What I mean is, with what you're facing, I don't mean you said it's simple. It is simple. But what I mean is, everybody that's coming towards you, you think, look at them all. They're just like zombies. So that's the harder bit. Anyway, sorry, carry on, Josh.
Oh no, I'm listening to you.
Well, yeah, that's the zombie bit. Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
hard. It's, you know, like, and sometimes even with your own friends, when you actually stand up and speak, they don't like it, do they? People you've known for 30, 40 years.
Yeah, I don't even try anymore with because I mean some of a lot of those people I still respect as humans, and I still would like to at least be distantly friendly with you, like not like like I don't know you anymore. It's like still like bump into each other, say hi, whatever. We could be cool, like so. Like I don't push any of my information their way. I mean, I post my stuff publicly on Facebook, and like if you don't want to see it, you can unfriend me, right? Or you can ghost me or whatever. So, right. So, but I don't push it in anybody's face that I know personally.
Yeah,
Unless
Patricia, just like Patricia, what's your motto? You said it tonight. Patricia, if you don't like it, what did Patricia say? Is she there? Oh, she's quiet. Well, what she says is, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Yeah, go on then. Go on, Patricia.
No, you just said it. No,
Well,
point me saying it.
Go on. Yeah, I only said half of it. Go on.
Oh, I can't remember what I said. If you don't like it, what?
Don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
Yeah, if you don't like the channel. Yeah, he said that yesterday on the hangout we had last night. Well, it was aired last night. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
hopefully.
probably. I've slept since then. Sorry, I've slept since then. But yeah, jog on. If you don't like it, jog on. Watch it. Don't do it. No one's making you. It's your choice whether to do something or not. I think that's about covered it. I'm not Cameron, sorry.
Patricia, you were supposed to come in and say, don't like it, don't watch it. But anyway.
I don't remember saying that, Karen. I say a lot of things. Once I've said it, I don't hold the information in. Because each day is a different day.
Yeah. Yes, Patricia.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm lying. I'm just saying once I've said it, unless it's coming up again, I'll probably change the words, but it'll still mean the same thing. Anyway, I'll shut up now. Let you get on. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not asking her again. I'm only joking. Trisha's lovely. She really helps me, and yeah, she's been my partner in crime quite a lot, haven't you, Patricia? But anyway.
Yeah, and the safe crime pays, but I'm not getting paid for this,
Patricia,
I do it because I love people.
Yeah.
Same here. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not. I don't like. My channel isn't monetized or anything. I don't want it. I don't want that intent in there. I don't want that to be the intent. But it's
Oh,
funny,
lovely girl.
like like there'll be trolls that'll come in there and try to accuse me of being monetized or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I'm not. Like,
Do
have
you
you
know
ever
what's really
seen it?
surprising though?
Have you
This
ever
is
seen? Have you ever seen an ad on my channel? No.
but YouTube was the place where you could go to be different. But obviously, people don't want anybody to, well, to be different with, so you could talk, but
Yeah,
they
well,
don't even like that. Some of them don't even like that, do they? You know, they just want to put you down for any freedom of speech.
it's like in school. I mean, the different kids. I was one of them that like would be hanging out. All the other kids would figure out who the different kids and make fun of them. It's like that's what's going on in YouTube. It's all the different kids have gotten together, and all the mean kids out there who want to make fun of different kids have figured out to get on the internet to do it now.
And you don't know how many of them are paid to do it, because I have put a
Oh,
couple of
there's
videos out.
definitely
They,
some are paid. Definitely.
yeah,
Hmm.
just to be horrible and nasty, and yeah.
They're professionals and they're really good at their wording. And like, I used to have a few that came on a lot with my free energy videos, and they were clever, but I was clever actually back with them in the comments. And they eventually went away because they realized I wasn't taking their bait like other guys would. So um, they'll be back around, I'm sure.
I have to say, for me, right, on Unscrambled, I'm not into arguing. And if people come in and they're rude, I'm sorry, or they say stupid, horrible things, which we were discussing before we actually pressed the record button, I just block you. You know, the Unscrambled channel is for hopefully those that are waking up awoke or want something different or know something's wrong, all that. If you, I'm not, this channel maybe not be for everybody, but yeah, I'm not arguing with these people. And
Yeah.
anyway, like you say, don't even know who half of them are.
Yeah, we're not here to argue. I'm not here to argue. I'm
No,
here
I don't
to
want to argue.
like
Yeah.
like I'm here to agree with you or disagree with you and discuss with you. That's mine, right? That's the only I'm not here to argue with people. Like, what's the point? it, I mean, the point is the ones who are paid to come in to create those arguments is to create divide and change perception of you, and hopefully get you to take the bait and get in there and start looking like a fool too. And I think if you're out there and you're arguing, it kind of makes you look a little weak, right? So it's just like, hold your ground. You said what you said. Like, you can agree or disagree. You don't have to agree with me. I'm just saying it, right? That's it. I might discuss a little bit
Oh, I
here and there
love
with
you,
you, but
Josh. I love you, Josh. You.
oh, we tell each other all the time, and like that's nice because every now and again to just get like a few hearts sent to you, that's always a nice, yeah, I'll take that. A nice little, it's just like a little jolt of, hi, I'm thinking of you, bam. I do that with a lot of people. Like, I love doing that. I love putting out like happy, positive thoughts to people because I talk about a lot of negative stuff. So I try to, say it, put it out there that there's also beauty in this world. There's love. That's a real thing, and so it's okay to have a balance of being honest, talking about the hard stuff, and then also having love in your life. And even if it's just with your animals, like love something, or, fish, whatever, or your plants,
Just so that
or,
people realise Josh is a friend of mine.
mhm.
But we are quite alike, and I love some of your videos, especially like that one. I'm now looking out for any spider that's coming my way at eye level. You know, like that just, I
uh,
probably didn't know about it, but I didn't think about it.
yeah, I forgot about that one. That
And
was a fun
listen,
video.
guys, Josh has realised that the birds go to the pylons because, and things like that, and the trees, because they're looking for a current. They're charging themselves.
Yeah, birds don't fly.
And that's how they made our aeroplanes the same.
Mm-hmm.
just like birds. And it just goes on and on. Victor Schuberg, he's amazing. Everybody should look him up because basically he was watching the birds and what they did, and that's how he made his aeroplane. And they had that in the 1940s.
Oh yeah. What was his name again? Victor what?
Victor Schuberg.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then you've got like
Forgot about him.
oh, there's just so many things we could talk about. To be honest, Josh, do you know how long we've been going? We've been going for an hour and a quarter. Do you think that
Oh
I know. Well, you'll have to come back, won't you?
yeah. Actually, yeah. I haven't even looked at the clock, but yeah, I probably should go. I still had some stuff to do this evening. So yeah. But wow,
Just to
yeah.
explain to people as well, Josh is very artistic. He makes music, don't you? And you've got a she shed. That was on another hangout with a lady who's got a shed, and she said, "This is my she shed." And then Josh said, "Hey, look, I've got one of those." So he now has a she shed.
Yeah. Now I call it a she or my bat cave.
And just to let everyone know, you've got fairy lights everywhere, haven't you?
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not really kind of in full effect right now because it's only 5 p.m. where I'm at,
I
so I
think
don't really have it all.
you showed your she shed when you came on. You put your camera on for a few seconds. So
It was on. I was on there for a second here, just to
yeah,
say hi. Hi. Yeah. At night.
it
At
does
night.
mess up with the signal though.
Yeah, I'll turn it off. But yeah, at night I
That's it.
have
Yeah,
it.
it moved your signal when you did that.
All right.
That's it.
Well,
Yeah.
let's not wait 3 months again.
Isn't that amazing? You put your camera on and you went, and it just broke up. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't happen. You only put your camera on.
Hmm. Well, it goes back to, I like to have conversations with people a lot, and I do it through FaceTime because I like to see what their expression, and I like them to see mine because I feel like I can communicate better with you if you can see me.
Oh,
So yeah,
sorry, Josh.
no,
I
no,
said
no,
I
I'm not.
wasn't putting my camera on. I've been to work and I'm just sorry. I'm in my dressing gown now, and I just
No,
yeah.
like it's fine. Like I'm not talking about now, but like in general, like with some other people I talk to, we always FaceTime because it's just more. It's kind of So, but what I'm saying is that it would make sense that YouTube would start to mess with the quality of the audio and stuff if we're all on video because we can all see each other's mannerisms and communicate better. So it's like we were saying earlier,
I
censoring
actually
our,
thought they
our
did want
emotions.
them on, Josh. I think they did want our cameras on because they're AIing us. And then I'm wondering whether they just aged that picture of us and then we turn up in some case.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I gotta go.
Well,
Or
can we say
you
goodbye for the recording, but say goodbye to you when I've stopped the recording? Because I hate that when we Miss Tricia, are waiting to actually say goodbye to them and we go, oh, they've gone. I'm just going to stop the recording. Patricia, do you want to say anything? You better say something this
Yeah,
time.
yeah, and not cut me off. Yeah, I know. You're terrible, Karen. Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Josh. I love you, and hope you have a good day. And anyone that's watching, I love you too. And I love Karen. But that goes
I
without
love you
saying.
too, Patricia. And Josh,
thank you,
I
Patricia.
love you,
And
Josh.
I love you both. And Patricia, I'm sending you all my good vibes. And
Oh, bless
I
you.
hope all that starts to get better for you over the next couple days. And I
Yeah.
love you, Karen. And let's do this sooner than later.
All right, that's a date. I'm just going to stop the recording now. Thank you, everybody that's listened, and I hope it resonated with you. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Patricia. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Go on, Patricia. Oh, you said that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what you were talking about. Yeah. I'm basically saying I'm cutting off. I just when I press the button, Patricia goes, I love you all. Go on, do it one more time. Go on, Patricia. Do it one more time.
I love you all.
Thank you, Patricia. I'm going to stop the recording now.